And we talked earlier, I think in our group, about some lifters actually pulling down on the bar, doing certain things, assuming you have all that fixed. Sometimes just changing the grip up. I've gone from thumb over to thumb under and back and forth just to kind of alleviate that overuse. Wider, more narrow, and more as you become advanced and you get through it, that variation, it's not a cop-out. It's kind of necessary to prevent some of that overuse stuff.
Does it go away, or is it just something you live with?
Well, yeah, no, it should go away. It may come back, but like the ibuprofen, for example, what we say there is like, so let's say I get, inflammation in my elbow, and you come in and you see me and I say, well, widen your grip, like move your hand like this, do all this stuff. That I may have just fixed the issue. Right. But guess what? You already had the inflammation. So that's where the idea of like, hey, let me just pound ibuprofen for 3 days, see if I can drive it out, implement this new grip, and see if something changes. But yeah, no, I mean, I struggled with it for a while. Now like you've probably seen, I use the Mars bar a good bit. I don't use it every session, but I probably use it 2 to 3 times a month, and it just seems to have like alleviated overusage. Because again, if you get strong, if you're squatting 115, Ivan was feeling some pain today from his squats, but it's gone right now, right? It was like during his squat, and so it's not enough weight to really do something terrible. But if you squat 385 and your grip is jacked up and you took it all in your elbow, like then it's gonna cause some stuff. So, but no, you shouldn't. There are some things that I feel like you live with, but like elbow tendinitis is solvable. Yeah.
Do you do hip firing?
I've done it and it works pretty well. Did you watch my video on shoulder pain?
I haven't.
Because they're connected, but I kind of go through a warm-up routine I do. I hang from the bar and twist and because ultimately it's presenting itself in the elbow. It's coming from the grip of the squat, which is dictated by your ability to get in the correct position and carry the bar on your back. So, I do some things that maybe are unorthodox. I do 100 push-ups every day because since I started doing that, I was able to get under the bar better, and my shoulder / elbow pain started to go away. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to stop doing this. It's not that hard. I wake up, hit 40, spread it out, boom. So yeah, spend a little more time warming up if it's if it's bothering you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
About nutrition.
Okay.
So on your off days, because when I am working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I feel good. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna pound it. I get as many, 200 grams of protein, right?
Sure.
Per gram per pound, whatever. And I'm still doing that on off days as well. But do you try to reduce the amount of calories on off days usually, or is there a formula for that?
What do you want to happen?
I'm okay with the weight I'm at. I'm not concerned about it. If I need to eat more, I will eat more to get more muscle. But I also don't want to become get a huge belly.
Sure.
My body can do that.
Sure.
Right.
Some people cycle amounts on off days. I'd kind of make the argument that the recovery day is just as important as the as the work day. The work day, maybe you're using, if you're on a carbohydrate diet, you're using carbohydrates for your energy, but then the protein that you're doing every day, that's what's rebuilding, right? That's what's causing structural adaptation to happen. So I think both are important. Yeah, I don't like cycling because it leads to counting, and I'd rather kind of teach some intuitive eating of just kind of figuring it out. But if you can, do you eat breakfast at home?
So I've been eating overnight oats.
But you eat that at home?
Yeah. So
it should be perfect. That meal, there shouldn't be oh, I'm gonna wake up and have Cocoa Puffs. It's I'm eating at home for sustenance. This is what I have 3 things that I will eat for breakfast. This, or this. They're all low sugar, low glycemic intake, high protein. And then if you have lunch scenarios like that, hey, am I going out to lunch with Connor because I'm in town in California, or am I at home taking a work break and feeding myself at my kitchen counter? Well, to me, make that meal perfect. And then you have some room, but I wouldn't worry about cycling. I would just try and figure out hey, most people's lives are pretty routine unless you're like Brian and you're all over the place. But if you're a pretty routine guy, be hey, I like this food. I can eat it on these days, and that's how I like to do it. Yeah.
Read both that you should do your hard aerobic and your weightlifting on the same day, and then other places that say to separate them as much as you possibly can.
What's the goal?
The goal is to not be as breakable and still be fast.
Okay. What I would say is if you're trying to prioritize strength training, then you have to prioritize strength training recovery. So in those instances, if your biggest goal was to, like, I want my squat to go up, then I would land on the side of, hey, you need to squat and deadlift or whatever, and then later that day, do your, hard cardio.
And then take an easy cardio day after that.
Yeah. But I'd also say, like, just kind of like anything, so every year I start running again because I'm in the Marine Corps Reserves. I have to run 3 miles. And it's like, as soon as I go running twice in 1 week, that first week I start doing that in the spring, like my squats and my deadlift suffer. But then I keep running 3 times a week between 2 and 5 miles and like speeding them up, some like interval stuff. And then like after a month, my squat and my deadlift have now like gotten right back to where they were. So it's like anything, like you're basically increasing your work capacity and like ability, like your baseline's different. Hey, my normal baseline's this, or I'm squatting. And it's like, oh, now my baseline is I'm walking 10,000 steps a day, or I'm doing you see what I'm saying? And so,
I get my question really is, I need to do both.
Yeah.
And I've read, some of them say do it the same day.
What's your hard conditioning? Like what is that?
At least 1 5-hour ride a week, and then a set of 30-second sprints once a week.
So I would do the 30 seconds.
Every other day riding. Like do that on a squat day?
Yeah, I would do the sprints like on the hard day, and then I would do like, what'd you say, 5 mile?
At least 5 hours.
5 hour. I would do that. Like if I'm lifting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would do that Saturday. That way Sunday I'm gonna have rest anyway. And then your others, like if you go out and jog for 20 minutes, that's not affecting your squat.
No,
like you know that, yeah. If you go on a 3 mile bike ride, it's not like, oh man, I hope I hit my deadlifts tomorrow. Like,
do it after your weight session, rather than before, yeah.
Like I said, it's just you read something.
Oh, it's
Don't do them the same day, no matter what. And the other ones, do all your stress one day.
Yeah.
And take a very easy day.
As like it sounds like an athlete, what's actually stressful and what is not, right? So you just need to manage those actual stressful things. I would say like the sprinting day, if you're doing that really hard, do it on the same as lifting. That way, the next day when you go on a 3 mile bike ride, 5 mile bike ride, 8 mile bike ride, 10 mile bike ride, it's it's different. Yes.
My bench and press have stalled a few weeks ago. Do you recommend throwing that in as the first lift? I've seen your videos about adding those like on Saturdays, a little more volume.
Can you do that or no?
Yeah, I can do that.
Still stalled?
Still stalling. But yeah, I guess in general, once I've done that, do you recommend adding that as the first lift Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Do you recommend like dips or rows or I'm doing chin-ups too.
I don't know if accessories is the first answer, but so you've added you were going 1.5 times a week on your bench press, and now you bumped it to 2 with an extra day.
I alternate the bench press and press on Saturdays.
Right.
Okay.
So then I just kind of alternate those.
It's
as an extra day Saturday.
Yeah.
In my experience, frequency is going to be your friend. So however you can do that, and then exercise order, if you've already bumped the frequency up.
I don't think I'd put it in front of my like squats. I mean, you could, but it's gonna kind of fix that issue for that day. Like I think I would leave. I don't think.
Keep it in the middle.
Yeah.
If you're doing LP, keep it in the middle of the sandwich. I mean, you could squat. I mean, the argument is squat's more systemically stressful, and it takes a little bit away. But you can play around with it. You can try it.
It's just patience on those lifts, because it's, what are you failing out? 0, or are you getting like 4, 4, 3? Yeah, right. So you're hitting new weights. So sometimes you have to think about. Sometimes you have to think about this differently. Like, hey, if I can go up and get a total of 5 or 6 of this new weight, you're not stuck. You're still going up, and then you have to manage the volume after. But if you're getting 4, 4, 3, great. If you have the time, now get 2, 2, 2, 1, 1 until you get to 15. If you don't have the time, okay, I hit 4, 4, 3 at 150. What's the least amount of weight I can take off to then get 2 more sets of 5? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then I've noticed that like in my garage, especially on the weekends, I can take my time with the lifts and the rest. I've heard Rib say like maybe take up to 10-minute rests if needed for some things sometimes. So I played with that, and I've been able to lift a little bit more. It takes 2.5 hours, but it's fine. I watch movies and stuff.
Watch The Godfather come back, rest.
But at what point is the rest too long? 15 minutes?
I mean, that's a Henry question. I mean, I think anything beyond 6 minutes is absurd.
You start cooling down.
Like,
you warm up again.
yeah.
Like what?
And I have stuff to do.
Yeah.
You know, but that's me personally. Like but I think, especially like on a press and a bench, like I don't think anything's happening between 6 and 10 minutes. It's different. You know, maybe on like a 5x5 squat day, that's like cojones to the wajonas. You know, that it's like on that last set, I go maybe 8 minutes or something, maybe. But I'm always of the mindset. I don't want to spend 2.5 hours in the gym, even if I have time for it. Like that's just too. And then your view on training is like this, like big long thing you have to do. I mean, 2.5 hours. That is so much. Are you getting paid for this? No, right? No, I'm not. Like rhetorical. Like that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, I always say in here. I said in I think maybe while you're squatting. You know, I usually, hey, start out 3 minutes rest, go to 4 minutes rest, go to 5 minutes rest. Once you get to 6 minutes rest, you need to alter your programming. You know, back off sets or whatever.
Since I have, I feel like I'm getting pretty much to the end of my linear,
Yeah.
my novice.
Mm-hmm.
And from what you guys said so far, you think I'm pretty much, pretty soon ready to start like an intermediate program, or?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, based off your squat and your deadlift numbers and your body weight, yeah, you're probably close. Just run it out. Like everyone's afraid to run it out, but just like run it out and then like fail. 5, 5, 4 in the squat. Go up 5 pounds anyway. 3, 3, 3 in a back off set. Go up 5 pounds anyway. This is for you because like you're young and like end your LP. Like keep doing that and then like, all right, I'm gonna take an extra day off. I'm gonna lift on Monday and not lifting until Friday. Go in the gym, have fun, set a 1 rep max in your squat, set a 1 rep max in your press and your deadlift and like, boom. Okay, now I have like good numbers that I can now move into this intermediate programming with. That's how I would do it. That's what we do with our lifters in here. You know, it should almost be like a celebration. You've been coming 3 times a week, working your ass off for 4 months, like, hey, let's PR. And it's like, well, I did 3:30 for 5. Is 3:45 for 1 that, impressive, because it's the end of the program and they're fatigued. It's like, who cares? It's more weight than you ever lifted. Like, great job. Now, let's go on to intermediate stuff. What else, everybody? All good?
One last question.
Yeah.
I've recently heard Rip say, forget the goal of the number for weights, lift, or your weight, body weight, or things like that, but I'd really like to be able to bench press 2 plates.
Yeah.
I've done 215, I think almost a month ago for 1 rep, so I'm just 10
You're right
reps
there.
away.
Yeah.
You get there. Keep training.
So just keep training.
Collect your 15 reps. Don't worry about if they're not 5s,
If you did 215, you're like very close.
Yeah.
And then do you recommend adding I have be right behind you, I have some little micro plates. It's like 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, do you remember?
Yeah, I think for like a male of your stature, anything less than a pound is probably not enough, of a jump. And I might even say like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. It's just, there's variance in your bar. You might have had it flipped this way versus that way. Do you have these plates?
No.
That's fine. Have you weighed your plates? No, that's not what I was getting, but have you weighed your plates?
I haven't.
But like, I bet if you had 3 45s, a 25, a 10 on each side, I bet there's variance. They're gonna move around your garage. So that's where I think a 0.5 pound on each side. I think it seems pretty small, but you definitely be making a 2 pound jump or 2.5 pound jump, like for sure. But yeah, the 0.25s, I think it just, like you might be wearing a different t-shirt today, so.
Even on the press, on the standing press?
Yeah, I mean, usually I use 0.5s like for females in the press.
Yeah.
Like for guys, I usually do 2.5 pound jumps, and yeah. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just, I wouldn't micro load it that small.
I've been doing 2.5 jumps in the press.
You've been doing 2.5, 1.25 on each side. Yeah, it works pretty well. Yeah.
I had a follow-up question. So when you add the bench and press on Saturday,
Uh-huh.
right, so I've been doing that as well. Do you recommend I guess you're doing both of them twice a week, right?
Yep.
If you're stalling, on the second workout of either bench or press, do you just try to stay where you are and try to catch up the reps, or do you still keep going up?
Do you understand that exactly?
Yeah. How do you progress if you're not? If you didn't get 15 reps,
Yeah. So
do you keep bumping up? Hey, I got 10 reps. Should I keep bumping the weight up on those 10 reps?
well, I've been Monday is what I kind of aim for. Like if I'm doing bench, let's take for an example, I hit it 150, right? and then usually I'll get the 15 reps in. It might take me 5 to 7
Sure.
sets, right? Would you recommend the next workout, since it took me so long, to just try to like reduce the sets and increase the reps?
It depends how. So like I like Ripeto's initial approach of go to press, fail, 5, 5, 4, repeat.
Right.
Most time 5, 5, 5. Go up 2.5 pounds.
Okay.
Fail, 5, 5, 4. Come back, retry. Fail again. Now something different needs to happen, which it sounds like you're there. I mean, I'm a big fan of 3x3 and then a little bit off, so you can still keep the weight going,
Right.
you know. 3 sets of 2 is useful too. Just don't make those back off sets too easy. Like it should still be like that. Whether that's on like rep 5 or rep 1 on a single, like that's what you're after. That's where you're getting stronger.
Okay.
More than 10% off is probably too much.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even been backing up. I just been finishing the 15.
Okay, got it.